So one of the most common questions that I get is, how do I make something be perfectly symmetrical? And so what I've done here is I've drawn just a random shape in Illustrator using the pen tool. The only thing I want to point out to you is this is one little step that I've done. I've went ahead and used my pen tool, and using my pen tool, what I've done is I have drawn the line all the way down, and then I've come over and I've clicked on this arrow, which will swap my fill and my stroke. This is an important step because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a tool in here to reflect this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to my object menu, I'm going to choose transform, and I'm going to choose reflect. You'll notice it'll show you this weird preview where this thing has been flipped. But essentially what we're going to do is until I click OK or I click any of these other buttons, the change doesn't actually happen. So if I click on the preview, you can see it's still there. But when I click on the preview, it'll show you what the flip is going to look like. So I'm going to go ahead and not click the OK button, but I'm going to click the copy button instead. By clicking the copy button, what I can do is I can go ahead and make two shapes that are side by side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in to make sure that I've got them perfectly lined up. So I'm going to go ahead and click on one. And what we're going to do is we're just going to work to try and put those to where they're identically lined up. One of the key things that you can do is by clicking on your direct select tool, you can actually put it right over the top of the other one and make it so it lines up here. I'm going to go ahead and go down to the bottom part. We're going to work to make sure that those two line up perfectly down there as well. The idea being we want to make this be as close as possible before we do this next step. Now what I can do, I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out. I'm going to go ahead and select both sides of this shape. 1, 2. And I'm going to open up what's called our Pathfinder menu. I'm going to go ahead and go to Window and go to Pathfinder. And this will allow me to actually combine these two shapes. So you'll notice that we have some different shape modes. We'll be looking at these more in detail in the future, but at least right now I want you guys to know this first one. It's called Unite. What I can do is I can click simply on it. And what that'll do is that'll make it so both of those shapes are one instead of two different things. Then if I want just the outline again, I can simply just switch that back, and that's how we make a completely symmetrical shape.